Have you seen the temperatures? I mean, it's kind of like normal here in Illinois, but look at this. Over the next few days, it's going to be like bottom's going to drop out. Even for some of you way in the south, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, all down in the south, 31 degrees below normal coming up. So I know we're all kind of worried about our bees making it through winter. Oh boy, fingers crossed. Hope they'll do okay. Hey everybody, David Burns, good to be with you. Welcome. And over here, if you haven't noticed, this is where I sit and do all the live streams, which we had a great live stream last week. Had a lot of fun teaching about the difference between a descriptive beekeeper and a beekeeper that is more advanced, what I call an interpretive beekeeper. I just wrote an article for Bee Culture about this. And if you didn't join me for my live stream, I'll leave a link at the end of this video, but you've got to take that in because it was a lot of you said you really loved that teaching, and I appreciate your feedback on that. Really helping you guys understand the importance of being an interpretive beekeeper, not just a descriptive beekeeper. Real important teaching on that one because a lot of people get stuck as a new beginner for year after year after year. If you're only identifying what you're seeing, but you don't know how to interpret and what to do next, you're stuck in the beginner's level. I'm here to get you out of that rut if that's you. Well, one of the ways that is so helpful is to understand that honeybees, they are a single organism. If you took one little honeybee by herself out of the hive and, put her in a jar, maybe gave her some honey, put a leaf in there, poke some holes in top of a jar, she would live a little while, but she wouldn't live as long as normal because she is part of a super organism. She needs to be around all of her other sisters, a few brothers, and mom. But, she has to live within that community, and it's called a super organism. Now, the reason they're called a super organism is because even though they're made up of many different bees, they all work together for one common function. They all have to do their part. And to qualify to be a superorganism, there's a criteria that you have to meet in the science world. Number one, you have to have a division of labor. That means all the bees go through a process where they do one kind of work for a while, one division of labor, like in honeybees, when a bee is born, they kind of go immediately to cleaning out their own cell, taking care of stuff, light duty around the house. But as they get more advanced in age, they gravitate to become a nurse bee, to a wax builder, eventually to a forager as they get older in the hive. So they have a division of labor. The second thing is coordinated function. They act as one unit. For example, if there's scarcity of resources out there, the whole colony will cut back on things that require a lot of resources if they don't have it to use. When it's swarm season, they work collectively to prepare a swarm. In other words, one single bee doesn't call all the shots. Now, some of you may think the queen tells everybody what to do. She doesn't. The queen kind of does two things. She lays eggs, and boy, does she lay eggs. The second thing she does is she spreads pheromones. And so that's really her two jobs. She doesn't really boss anybody around. She doesn't determine what the hive is going to do because they are a single organism. And the third thing that qualifies honeybees to be a superorganism is that they have a reproductive unity. The queen is the only one that is going to be reproductive. Now the other bees, the other little worker bees, they could be, reproductive. They are sometimes with laying workers, for example. But they give up their right to be reproductive to let the queen do all the work through pheromones that suppresses down the ability of these other workers to lay eggs. So that's really important too. Also, what's really cool, I always get pumped and excited to talk about bees like this, by the way. I'm passionate if you haven't seen me about bees, but I love talking about bees. And one of the things about the superorganism of the hive, the colony, I've heard people compare the superorganism of the colony to the human body. So the queen is the reproductive organ of the body. It's been said that the nurse bees are kind of like the immunity or the liver of our body. They kind of keep all things going, the nurturing organs. And the foragers are like the hands, the mouth, the feet that are able to bring food to keep the body fed. Within the colony, there's wax, and it's been said that the wax is kind of like the skeleton of the body. Pheromones act like the nervous system, sending messages across thousands of different individuals. I don't know, that's just kind of cool to think about that, this superorganism. It's just cool to think of the hive as a single organism, not just one bee. And this really matters in beekeeping. I'm really excited about this, and I'm continuing to teach you guys about the importance of becoming an interpretive beekeeper, where you interpret, you analyze, you know what to do next, because you've gone beyond just being someone that can identify things or describe things. Now you're identifying the superorganism, and you're being able to read and study it, know what's going on, know what to do next. And the reason this is really important for beekeepers is because you no longer treat the hive as one frame or one queen or a frame of honey or a frame of bee bread or a frame of brood. As an interpretive beekeeper, you're going to begin looking at the hive as an entire superorganism. Like if you were to go to the doctor because, let's say, your toe hurt. I got a sore toe. You go to the doctor with a sore toe. Okay, you're going to look at the toe, maybe see what's wrong with the toe. But, a good doctor is going to start thinking, okay, that's a symptom. What's causing it? What is the root cause of the toe pain, right? And so you don't just solve a symptom problem, you solve the cause of the symptom. So in other words, in beekeeping, what's so cool, and I think it's hard for people to grasp, and I'm here to help you out. A lot of people get frustrated. They quit beekeeping kind of early, maybe their first year, because they only stay a descriptive beekeeper. They can only describe what they see. Even if they see a problem, they're only able to say, uh-oh, I have a problem. I don't know what to do. This isn't working. What do I do? And so it's important to grow out of those early days of being a descriptive new beekeeper and becoming more advanced beekeeper. And it doesn't mean that you have to really spend 20 years in a hive to be advanced. I think you can go from a descriptive beekeeper to an interpretive beekeeper in your first year of beekeeping, especially if you follow some things I'm going to be sharing with you over the next few months. I've got 4 powerful keys I'm building and going to be sharing with you guys. 4 powerful principles, elements, approaches to beekeeping that can really advance you beyond this frustrated kind of anxiety of like, are my bees going to make it through winter? I don't know what's wrong with my bees. Even in the summer, a lot of people are just struggling with, I don't know what to do next. Can I put that on here? Can I put that under here? What does this mean? Are they swarming? I don't have all the answers. I don't know what to do next. I'm going to help you kind of understand that a little bit better. But knowing the superorganism really is going to be a pivotal point in your beekeeper endeavors when you look at the hive no longer as one bee or one frame, but a superorganism. Anytime I open a hive up and I begin looking at it, I'm never looking at it on just a scattered bunch of data. I never look at it that way. I look at it overall. I look at the whole hive, even though I'm looking at a frame or, a group of bees over here or the queen or some eggs. I'm looking at it as a complete whole unit, as a superorganism. And all the decisions that I make, how my hive is doing now and in the future, how they're going to do, is all based on them as one group, one superorganism. Also, it's helpful because you can stop worrying if, one or a few bees die. A lot of people ask me that. They'll say, oh, I see a dead bee on the entrance. Oh my gosh, what's going on? And they will panic. I understand it, and I think that's fine. But, once you get a little more understanding of the superorganism, you realize that 300 to 700 bees are dying every day during the bee season, maybe more, because they're aging out. They're just worn out, and bees only live 45 days. In the summer, they work so hard. And so you know that it doesn't really matter. I know it sounds odd, but they're raising 1,000 to 2,000 more bees every day because they understand it's a living organism. Just like your cells die off, your body raises new cells. That's what the superorganism does as well, the beehive. So you learn not to worry about 1 or 2 bees here and there, even 10 or 20 bees, because You got a lot of bees, and the bees are going to continue to grow. So if I walked up to a hive in the middle of summer and I saw 5 dead bees on the bottom board, 5 dead bees in the grass, 10 dead bees over there, it wouldn't affect me at all. Because what I'm going to do to find out if everything is okay, I'm going to open up and look at the superorganism. How are they doing as one single organism? So when I inspect a hive, I evaluate cohesion of the super single organism. How are they doing as a single organism? Are they raising brood? Are they organizing their comb? Are they good at defending the hive? And if I don't see the queen, I don't panic, because I can look at eggs. I can see the product of what she's doing. I can look at the cohesion of the hive and make the decision. I can't see my own heart. I mean, I know it's there. I can, put my hand there and feel it. I know it's there, but I don't have to physically put eyes on my heart. It's impossible. Well, unless I have surgery, which I hope I never have to do. But same as a queen. You don't have to physically see the queen if you know that the hive's heartbeat is beating because you see eggs, larvae, pupae. Isn't it cool to think about those things? I get excited about this. So if you were my student and if you were sitting across the table from me here in my shop and we were talking bees and you said to me, David, I really want to know more about bees. I want to know, like, you're a master beekeeper, David. I want to be like that. I want to know how to open up a hive and just pick up on things really quick, learn about them. And so tell me, David, what's the most important thing for me to grasp early on in beekeeping to really continue to build and be a really good beekeeper? You got to understand they are a super organism. I think that's powerful. Now, I've got a live stream coming up this Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Part 2 on my teaching on becoming an interpretive beekeeper and not getting stuck in the rut of being a descriptive beekeeper. Now, if you missed the opportunity to learn Part 1, to hear Part 1, I'm going to leave a link right over here, and I hope you'll join me. It is an exciting teaching. And again, people really told me they appreciated it. I'll meet you over there.